Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh to Dr. Anwar and to my fellow teammates. We are from Group 18, JCAS from Group 18, and the topic given to us is solid waste management in UKM. So before we start, I would like to introduce my teammates. On my far right is Adeline, this is Najwa, this is Najiha, and to my left is Hamizah. And my name is Sharifah Nuraihan. So let's start with the introduction. So before we go to solid waste management, let's really embrace what solid waste means. So solid waste is the unwanted material or useless solid waste that produced by human, it could produce by a community, or even by the world itself. So solid waste can be divided into a few categories. To name a few, I have three categories here. First, the origin. It means where does the solid waste come from? So it could come from domestic areas, it could come from residential areas, it could come from agriculture or construction site as well. So that's first. Second category is content, which means what does the solid waste consist of? For example, organic, paper, plastic, glass, metals, and so on. Now, the third category is hazard potential. Solid waste can be toxic, it could be non-toxic, it could be flammable, it could be non-flammable, it could even be radioactive. So those are categories. Solid waste management, however, means the generation and the prevention to dispose solid waste. What this actually means, the handling, the treatment, the monitoring of solid waste. Because if we don't have this management, then solid waste will will build up day by day, and we cannot control it. So we have to have solid waste management. Now, scope and objective of our studies are to study the solid waste management in UKM, that is our scope. Then to reduce the volume of solid waste through this implementation of waste reduction and recycling program. To find out whether the Department of UKM has a system to manage solid waste. To bring awareness, to bring awareness to community in UKM about solid waste management. Next, to minimize the rate of solid waste, and of course to encourage reuse and recycle of solid waste here in UKM. Okay, problem statement. These are some problem statements that we have listed down during our studies about this topic. First, waste generated is increased rapidly. How increased does it generate here in UKM? We will study that. The recycle bin, does it provide it in UKM? And if it does community of UKM use it well? So those are the questions. Illegal dumping, why some people do illegal dumping here in UKM? The habit of recycling, some people do their recycling but some don't. So why? We will discuss that. And of course, the human behavior, their awareness, why they do know about recycle, but why they are not recycling. So those are those are a problem statement that we are discussing. Now, I will pass to Hamizan for literature review.
And now I will continue about the literature review for solid waste management. And here, nowadays, solid waste disposal becoming more expensive due to
dia boleh arrow tu nak next
okay.
Pointer.
Nowadays, solid waste disposal becoming more expensive due to rising land prices. Essentially, nowadays we don't have more space for landfill, and we have rapid development from the developer. And the second is a cost fees paid to localities, For example, for a residential area, we have to pay maintenance for collect the garbage to transport to the landfill. And the third is strict environmental regulation. It is very important right now nowadays because our government has strictly gazetted many rules to our environment in order to protect the environment for our future generation. And in Malaysia, it's actually open dumping and sanitary landfill is a major method for waste disposal. According to Jabatan Sistem Pekerjaan Negara 2009, we have 290 landfill sites and 176 sites still on process. That means it's very lot of landfill, and the problem faced to the existing landfill is nearing to its end. That means it's very full, already full, not enough space anymore. And this is a general classification of solid waste. Actually is have more than this. I just summarized into 9 criteria. First is plastic, metal, glass, textile, timber, rubber, food, and potentially hazardous things. Okay. From World Resources Institute 1996 they say that 1 to 3 of the solid waste generated is not collected. That means this is from our world, our world composition. And Zamali Tamudi said that in Malaysia, we are in urban scenario. Solid waste was generated at an average of 7,600,000 tons per day, and it is expected in 2025 that solid waste will be generated around 1.8 million tons per day. That means very dangerous if we not manage our solid waste properly for our future generation. And Imura, that's all, 2005 said that the high population growth and urbanization with economic growth was changed the consumption of people, and they increase the waste generation and change the waste composition year by year. And this is the problem facing for our Malaysian management to our solid waste. The first is we inadequate resource mobilization. Second is over-reliance and on imported equipment. The third is inappropriate methods of finance. The fifth is inequity in service provision, lack of technical expertise, and use of inappropriate technology. Actually the main point here is Malaysian behavior itself. If we do not educate our Malaysian, I think all this management still will have problem, because it comes from us, right? And here is actually there are a lot of methods to manage our waste, our solid waste, and these are the best practice to manage solid waste, which is the first one, reduce. We reduce. The second one, we reuse, and the third one, we recycle. Reduce and reuse, actually we can combine it together. How we are going to reduce, how we are going to reuse? It's actually we control our waste from its source. For example, from the manufacturer, they produce their production with less packaging, or we use what we call reuse plastic bag to buy anything in groceries. We don't use their plastic bag. And but the recycle nowadays is very important because from the solid waste that we collected and we sort separately by types, and we dispose it to be a raw material, and then we create a new product. That's how it's very important for now to reduce our solid waste. And solid waste management at UKM, about 8 tons per day solid waste is generated by 30,000 population in UKM. And there are two major categories of waste. The first one is organic waste, and the second one is inorganic waste. Organic waste is actually the things that we can recycle and reuse, and inorganic waste come from our food or landscape waste. And these are the compositions that has been studied at UKM, which is we got the high composition on waste, food waste, and the other is inorganic waste. Okay, Kian Gi-Q 2010 said that from his research, about 45.3% of the waste is recyclable, which is inorganic, and 46.5% is compostable, which is organic, and 8.2% is non-recyclable. That means for our solid waste in UKM, that it's approximately 92% of the waste generated at UKM could be reused as beneficial material. And these are the initiative that was done by UKM. We go to the first. In 2007, UKM was launched the Sustainable Campus Program. In conjunction with this program, UKM provide the recycling programs, which name Zero Waste Campus. And in order to improve the Zero Waste Campus, in 2008, UKM and Alam Flora Sunyabahat signed a memorandum of agreement in order to collect all the recycled things, to transport them to dispose area. And in January 2010, the team has launched and produced a total of 500 unit paper recycling boxes to the faculties, institutes, centers, and college in UKM in order to encourage students or staff to recycle the things, to put the things in provided dustbin. And here is the flow chart of paper recycling boxes in UKM. Start with paper waste, paper use on both sides. If we use we use the paper on both sides, we just throw paper waste to paper recycling boxes. If we don't use both sides, then we reuse that paper for printing, and we go down for paper recycling box full. If yes, we collect. If no, we hold. And the contractor from Alam Flora will collect and record the paper waste, and just end. That's the way the flow. And for current management, it is actually Jabatan Pengurusan Pembangunan UKM (JPP) manage the collection of garbage in UKM, and they sign contract with the PT Niaga Sungai Berhad, which is the main contractor for the waste collection in UKM, and around 20 mini contractors were hired for the collection through the faculties and colleges within UKM. And these are the flow, how they are do their work. The first collection at faculties and college by the mini contractors, and they gather the collection at a certain place in UKM before the compactor take it, which is the main contractor, collect the waste, and they send the waste to the landfill. For our UKM, they send to the Semenyih landfill, and I think Sungai Kembung to landfill area. And that's all for my part.